Good morning, everybody. It is Monday morning. It is 11:06, and it is 11:06 because I was chatting I had 20 minutes between my last call and this one, and I was chatting with my friend, and I lost track of time. I was that kid in school who got all A's and also poor marks in conduct because I was always chatting. So I don't know if any of you could possibly relate to that, but I imagine some of you might understand it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Monday. It is a gorgeous sunny day. It has been a gorgeous sunny weekend, and it's been delightful to finally have spring in the Northeast at least. And I know in New England we have like cold, 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 summer hot, and there's very little in between of there's usually like a 2 week span of spring, but it is even late for us to have this. It's been cold and dreary for a lot of May, so I'm actually grateful to finally have some sun and some warmth and some extra, I don't know, vitamin D, that we're all going to absorb. And if you've joined us, say good morning, tell me who you are and hello. And if you're watching a replay, please let me know. I do like to pay attention. And one of the things I want to talk to you about today is there's a whole slew of things that I wanted to talk to you about today. The weather among them. And one of the things I wanted to mention is that I did over the weekend. I did a course with a woman, Mary Morrissey, and I didn't get to do the whole course because of the weekend and the way it was. I actually really only got to participate in Saturday for a little while, but I got what I needed out of this weekend. And so Mary Morrissey is someone who I've been following for at least a decade. She's brilliant, amazing. She does so much with Dream Builder, so she has this whole Dream Builder program. And I apologize, my windows are open. This is the downside of being in my space with my windows, is there's now fire engines going by. But I have my windows open because it's too gorgeous not to. So Mary Morrissey does Dream Builder. She does this whole like, becoming, and if you can dream it, you can live it, and really truly on the edge of consciousness work. I followed her forever, and a lot of what I speak and how I talk and how I've been is because I've been influenced by her speaking and her concepts. I took her Dream Builder course as a self study. I don't think Lily was born yet, or she was a baby. So we're really going back a decade. Um, and I haven't, I never worked it fully. This weekend I actually worked it pretty fully, and I got to this place of like, but when I did work it, I did the whole thing. I did that whole process. I went back just about about a year ago. I went back and I looked at all of the things that I had written for what I was building as my dream. All of them. I live by a hospital. That's what we're hearing is the ambulances and fire engines are going by. So I looked back at everything that I had written in the Dream Builder program, and every single one of them was met. I had met when I looked at the list last June. The amount of money that I had, the work that I was doing, the teaching and the speaking and whatever, all of it was it was what I had written, and I had all of it. I had all of it plus. It was really kind of amazing because those dreams that I had written, certainly when I wrote them 10 years ago, was like pipe dreams, right? They were just pipe dreams. But when I wrote them in 2016, when I was in my dark night, when I redid the program again, it didn't feel real. It didn't feel possible. It was pie in the sky numbers, right? And I did it. And it was very cool. It was a very cool experience to have that sort of list of everything. And what's been interesting is since then I haven't actually had a true defined dream, something I was working towards. I'm doing this work. I have ideas. I have business sort of plan, right? Plan it loosely, but I haven't had like a dream of something I was working on. So I haven't done the Dream Builder process program, you know, set point, thermostat set point, belief coding, all that stuff. Until on Saturday, when I was doing the program, I was doing the work, I was doing whatever, and I got this flash of insight. I was listening to her speak, and she's so brilliant. She's so brilliant, so engaging, and so passionate. And she's been doing this work for, I don't know, 40 or 50 years. I mean, she's been doing this work since she was young. Um, and she's studied with greats and she's worked with the greats and whatever. So she's actually a really really amazing woman. On Saturday, I got this flash of insight again about what my next dream is, or I don't want to say flash, but it was a clarity of focus that I haven't had in forever. And the clarity of focus I had is I want to create something called the Fierce Happiness Institute. And what this looks like is groups of like retreats and like I'm doing the Chakras of Happiness class that's been a 6-month dive. Do that sort of like year long weekly or once a month calls that we do the deep dive work. We have retreats. We have opportunities to come together as a community and learn and grow and become and choose fierce happiness. I don't actually know how this is going to happen. I don't actually know where or when or I don't there are things that are beyond my scope. But I know now, like I know my name, this is my next vision is the Fierce Happiness Institute. And I'm sharing it with you first in my Fierce Happy Women group. Like I've only shared this with a handful of people. Like my closest intimate people are the only people who have heard about this yet. Because it just happened on Saturday and I'm still trying to I don't know, I haven't even talked to my business coach. I'm like, I don't even know what this looks like yet. But I know this is what's going to happen. So if you're interested, we'll make this happen. But this is going to be, I feel like pretty quickly this is going to happen, and this is going to really truly take the work I do to the next level. And I say this because it was this jolt of excitement and passion, and it gave me a purpose again. I was like, this, right? And when I teach the science of happiness, one of the traits of happy people is that they work towards something. Like in general, happy people have goals that they're accomplishing. It doesn't matter what the goal is. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter how fast you make progress towards that goal. But the traits of one of the biggest traits of happy people across study after study after study is that universally we have a goal that we're working towards. So that's one question. My first question to you this morning is, what is it that you're working towards? What is it that you're becoming? To quote Mary Morrissey, what's on your green growing edges of becoming? Just let's just sit for a second and think about how beautiful that language is. What is on the green growing edges of your becoming? Just outside of your comfort zone. What is it the goal that you're working on? And truly, if you don't have one, that's where you need a coach, a healer, a teacher, a guide. That's where I come in, right? Let me help you figure it out. We'll figure it out together. That's the first thing. The second thing is, good morning, Debbie. I'm glad you're watching. And doesn't it sound amazing? Yeah, you're absolutely in to be a part of the Fierce Happy Women Institute, Fierce Happiness Institute. So the second piece I wanted to talk about today is so having a goal, having a something, right? But also allowing for possibilities, like allowing for synchronicities, allowing for what's possible. And that takes a tremendous amount of work and discipline and surrender, right? That I mean, like allowing for possibilities, like you can have all of these ideas and thoughts and plans and dreams. And if you micromanage them, they're not getting anywhere. because the universe, it doesn't give the universe an entry point. So I talked about possibilities. And when I say possibilities, I really mean what would you love? What's on the green growing edges of your becoming? But also, what's possible? And what are you saying no to energetically, unconsciously, without knowing that you're doing it? In the course of I've been doing a sort of an interesting sojourn as I've been doing so much like manifesting and all this stuff. I know I've been talking to you guys about this. Um, I've been doing a very, very cool sojourn into forgiveness this past few weeks. Um, it was based on a conversation that I had with my dear friend, and she said, "Well, where are the places in you that you haven't forgiven yet?" And I was like, "I don't know because I don't have access to it, blah, blah." So I've been sitting, and then one night I woke up with a dream. I woke up from this like insane, like it felt so real dream, and it involved my ex-girlfriend, and I didn't even know that that was in there. But then it was there, and I was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much!" Because now I had something to do. I had something to work on. I had something to forgive. And I did. I did tons of forgiveness work, whatever day it was, Thursday, Friday, whatever day it was. I did this like deep, deep, deep meditative dive. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful and so powerful. And I felt so free afterwards. So free. And then I went into this weekend and I did this program with Mary, and I had this like amazing hit of awareness and this jolt of and if I hadn't done the forgiveness work, if I hadn't let go of that place in me that was still holding on to that anger or hurt or resentment or forgiving myself for, I actually started to realize that I had done some things that I was like, all right, it wasn't just her. Right? So I got to forgive myself. And that was really painful. And then similarly, I had another. One morning. I don't know. It was all like the same time frame. I don't know. It was a Saturday. They all whatever time ran together. But like so then I got another hit of like something that happened. When I was 24. I was dating a woman that I had whatever. I was using her and she was using me, and it was perfect, and also it was a little messy and codependent. And one night when I decided that we were no longer it didn't work anymore, and I said, yeah, I don't think it's working anymore. She didn't want to hear that. So that night she took what she wanted, whether or not I said yes. Which I have done. I've done this where I have really truly let go of so much of that trauma from that night. But so it came up again. I was like, here it is again, again. I was 24. I'm 47. That was like more time has passed than I was. Whatever. But so I sat with it again. I sat with it, and again I did some forgiveness work, and I got to this place of real forgiveness and surrender to her, forgiveness, and I also got to this place of forgiveness of myself. And that was the harder piece. I'm not going to lie to you. It was harder to forgive myself than it was to forgive her. And I had this moment of awareness of like, I needed to forgive myself for, I mean, part of the reason I was with her, she was infinitely older. She was like 25 years older than I was or something. I wasn't even 25 yet, and she was well into her 50s. She was a mom, right? Whatever. I needed to be taken care of. I needed to be mothered. I needed to be cosseted a little bit. I needed to be appreciated, and she did all of these things. So like I had to forgive myself for, I guess I didn't even know that I needed to forgive myself. That's why I didn't know that I hadn't forgiven myself for needing those things. And of course, we all need those things. I teach this stuff. But I didn't know that my 24-year-old self felt like there was something wrong with her because of it. Right? So that was the other piece I did of like this like letting go of what I'm saying no to for now 23 or 4 years, I've been saying no to not being taken care of. Do you think that maybe has something to do with abundance and financial wealth and manifesting and all these things? I was like, I didn't even know there was a connection that I had to unpack. And so it was very cool to be able to, again, and I did this and I released it and I got this place of like just such peace. And I felt open, I felt the possibilities. I felt freer and lighter. And now I'm sharing it with you. The whole conversation today was possibilities and having a dream. And the last piece is claiming our power. I had a beautiful conversation with a friend of mine this morning, and we talked about claiming our power and how scary it is, and how there's a little bit of like, but if I say that, can I really say that thing? Like, can I really claim it? We talked about she's also a beautiful, brilliant, amazing healer. And she said the same thing to me. She's like, I feel if I say that, people are going to judge me or think I'm we talked about woo woo crazy or right or just egotistical or whatever, right? And she and I were talking back and forth about the hits and the downloads and the information that we have, right? This connection that we have to guides and the divine and spirit, right? Debbie, diving deep is so powerful, right? You get that feeling of freedom afterwards. The deep dive is so fucking powerful. Yes. So when we were talking this morning, we were talking about I was talking about I haven't claimed it yet because I'm like, there's a part of me that's like, can I really do this? I have a when I talk to my guides, one of the sets of guides that I have, I guess, is this council of light. And they teach me, they guide me, they speak through me all the time. And one of the things I've been sort of asked to do, and I haven't been able to claim it until right now, I'm doing it with you guys for the first time again, is I'm a channel for them. So I'm actually having to claim that I'm gonna have to do this more formally. Like I'm gonna actually have to channel, and like I'm probably gonna start doing like a monthly message from the Council of Light. I even saying this, I'm feeling a little both. There's a little cringiness. There's a little like, oh my God. There's a little like all that anxiety of the witch wound coming back up again, which we all have. We all have this. Women especially. I'm in my chakras of happiness. We're in the fifth chakra, and we talked all last week about how women specifically have been for historically shut down for speaking up and speaking the truth. Patty and I are watching Gaslit. Which is the story of Martha Mitchell, which is and it played brilliantly by Julia Roberts. By the way, if you haven't watched this show, I fully highly recommend it. It's a really 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 good show. But the way they're trying to shut her voice down is so it's it's scary and painful, and also it rings true, and you're rooting for this woman. I wasn't even alive in 72. I wasn't even alive when the events of this things happened, but I can feel it, I can understand it, I know it. And it's not that far off from what's going on today. So what are you doing? What goal? What is on the green growing edges of your becoming? And what are you working towards? Are you allowing the divine, infinite possibilities, source, God, I don't care, whatever. Are you allowing an entry point for possibilities? And where are you being called to claim your power? Those are the three questions I have for you today. And I really truly invite you to sit in the inquiry of it, because you're being called. There is an entry point. You do have places that you want to continue to grow into. Maybe you can't do it on your own. And for most of us, we can't, right? I have this what I think is going to be ongoing. This 4 weeks to Fierce Happiness program. It's twice a week. It's a regression healing one time, and then a follow up like integration session the next week. And I'm 2 weeks in with two women, and they're like the changes are already ridiculous. So if nothing else, do this. It's a month. It's 4 weeks. It's unbelievable, and it's a stupid cheap price, right? Or work with me one on one for a longer term, right? I'm at the point now where I actually think I'm only going to work with people for 6 months or a year. I'll do one on one healings, I'll do one offs. I still do. I will always do one off healings. I love them. I will always do that. But I think for the longer term growth, I think it's a 6 months or a year process. I think that's why I think I'm so jazzed about the Fierce Happiness Institute, because it's going to be a year of let's get together and dive and have a group and have a tribe of women or people. I imagine there are some woke men who'll be allowed in. Let's have a tribe of people who sing our songs and honk our honks. I love you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being this amazing group of people that I get to just share my thoughts with all the time. And I wish you the most beautiful, amazing, happy Monday.